But the fact of the matter is that many times we forget that some of us have come through the same hoods and barrios that you came from. And people would never expect us to do anything and be anybody. And the excuse they give in life is, well, because you are underprivileged or come from a poor home or less opportunities, we don't expect you to do much. Well, that's what they expect. The issue in your life is not what others expect of you, it's what you're going to expect out of yourself. When I was growing up, my father left when I was very young. I come out of a single-parent home. I never saw my father till I was older and very well known. But my mother believed in me. She had to drop out of school and she was in the 7th grade in Alabama. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. But my mother made me believe in myself. And I learned that if you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter who else does not believe in you if you believe in yourself. It doesn't matter if everybody believes in you if you don't believe in yourself. Now, my daughter introduced me from National Action Network and MSNBC. The title she didn't give you is that there has been times in my life where I've been the chairman of the board, president, secretary, and only member of the Al Sharpton fan club. And we would meet every morning. We'd go in the bathroom wherever I was at, and we'd have a meeting. And we'd get Al together. Go, Al, you can do it, Al. Don't worry about what they say, Al. And after we'd have our meeting, I'd come out the bathroom, I'd be ready for the world. What am I saying? You have got to be the head of your own fan club. And I don't care if no teacher believes in you, no principal believes in you, no school superintendent, no teacher union head. If you are the head of your own fan club, you can do whatever it is that you want to do in life. I got a little older, I met a man named James Brown, who became a very famous entertainer. And I remember riding around with him one night, just he and I. He became like the father I didn't have. And I told him, I said, well, you know, I've tried a lot of things, but, you know, I come out of a broken home. He said, what do you mean you come out of a broken home? I said, well, you know, my father left when I was young. He said, Reverend, don't use that as an excuse. I said, what do you mean? He said, my father left me when I was 5, left me with my aunt who ran a whorehouse. I don't know if I'm supposed to use that language. A house of ill repute. He said, my mother left when I was 3. He never met his mother until he was starring at the Apollo Theater in Manhattan. He said, my mother and father left, and I did something. He said, so what is your excuse? What I'm really saying to you is whatever sad story you have, somebody has a worse story and did what they had to do anyway. So don't run around feeling sorry for yourself, because the only one that you will find in life that's going to feel sorry for you is you. Make something of yourself so you can turn your story into your glory. Now, I was reading about the tensions between black and Latino students. I'm reading this story about Booker T. Washington, school in a war zone. What war zone? What are we fighting each other over when we're all trying to get out of a social circumstance that none of us put ourselves in? We are not each other's friend. One bound by color, the other by language. All of us trying to correct what has been done against us. Blacks and Latinos ought not be fighting each other. We ought to be fighting with each other, those that don't think any of us do. well, you ain't right because you know, you black and this, that, and other. You ain't right. Meet out. Who do you think you are? If we come together and understand that it is strength united and it's strength coming up together, then those that think neither one of us is anything cannot discriminate against us. It's not about your color, it's about your kind. Everybody that's my color is not my kind. And everybody that's my kinfolk is not necessarily come with my skin folk. Last year, a tragedy happened in this state with Trayvon Martin. His mother's here this morning, and his brother. Stand up. Give them a hand. One of the things that I saw is blacks and whites and Latinos and Asians and straights and gays, people all over the country stood up and said, we don't know what happened, but they deserve a day in court. And because we all stood up together, we're going to have that day in court. It shows what we can do together. Now, I'm not prejudging the trial at midnight. But we're saying it shows the strength of people united. And what was great about the Trayvon Martin movement is that we did it without throwing one brick. No one got hurt. There was no violence. Even when I get angry, Sabrina, the mother, said, we're not going to have that. I think sometimes she thought I was her son, Reverend. She pulled my coat, put me in check. Because it's not only that you have a right cause, you have to act right with your cause. Our attorney who comes right here from Florida built his way up. He's here this morning, and he's been an attorney and spokesman for them. And, you know, he would go out there and speak for them, and I'd try to speak. I'm a little cuter than him, but we let him talk. Attorney Benjamin Crump, stand up, Benjamin Crump. But let me tell you, a tragedy happens every day. What happened to Trayvon, the courts will deal with it, is something that is near and dear to my heart. But what bothers me also is what we are doing to each other every day. You can't talk about what you think somebody did to Trayvon, and you're displaying the same recklessness and the same uncaring behavior one to another. You can't put on a hood for Trayvon and then act like a thug yourself. You can't desecrate those of us that fight for you if you're not going to fight for yourself. Every time you walk across a stage with a high school diploma, you're striking a blow for those that fought to give you the rights and the privileges. People say to me, well, you got to understand the reality, Reverend. A lot of them come from homes that didn't have all opportunities. A lot of them come from single parents' homes. A lot of them come from conditions where they needed help. I told a guy that was telling me this not long ago. I said, I know a guy who come from a single parent home, grew up different parts, always moving around. For a while, his mother had to get food stamps to feed him. You think he'd grow up to be somebody? He said, probably not. I said, well, next time you're in Washington, go by his house. He's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He's the president of the United States. Barack Obama came from that background and used education to lift himself. And now people that come from comfortable backgrounds that had mom and daddy at home, had all of the money they needed, spoke the language perfectly, have to walk in his office and salute him and say, "Good morning, Mr. President." You can do that. May not be president of the United States, but you can be the head in your field. You can make it to where you want to